Lowly mortals, lend your ears. Zeus, yes, Zeus, our respected All-Father and King of the gods, child of Kronos and Rhea, husband of Hera and father of many, keeper of lightning bolts, overseer of the divine order of gods and men, the Lord of Olympus himself, and champion of the erotic adventure, beseeches you. Lend your ears, for he is to regale you with the tale of how he came to start spring.
Hello, beloved mortal. Hello! It is I, Zeus, your god, patriarch of the pantheon of the Hellenic world. And though I might seem like a little bit of a party animal, roving around from mountain to mountain throwing soirees for nymphs and gods alike, my mind is as a great gear, a great clock that ticks, tocks, and booms, and sets the world straight and keeps the cosmos in a divine order.
Zeus was king of a pantheon of divine gods, and remarkably, given his temperament, he was not an only child. Zeus had two younger brothers who were also kings of their own realms. One was Poseidon, god of the sea, earthquakes, storms, and horses, whose domain lay beneath the waters of the world. His youngest brother was Hades. Hades was the god of the dead, and his realm was the underworld. Although Zeus and his brothers made a big deal about ruling the earth, a lot of the actual day-to-day running of many aspects of earth and all life on it was left to the other gods, like Demeter. Demeter oversaw the fertility of all things, all the grains, the fruits, including the grapes for the wine, all which came from the soil, on which man and gods depended for life itself, was at her mercy and charge. Without her, humanity would starve, and the world would grow lifeless and cold, and all living things would die, and again there would be no wine at all. And Demeter was good to the lowly mortals of earth. Demeter was particularly happy because, unlike the other gods, she had a daughter, Persephone. And in her happiness, she saw that there was no changing of the seasons, and that the world existed in a perpetual summer. Alongside her mother, Persephone oversaw the ripening of the fruits and the delightful job of painting the flowers. Demeter and Persephone lived in bliss and harmony together, never arguing or disagreeing about anything. Demeter rarely let Persephone stray from her side, and although Persephone was definitely very happy with her life with her mother in the perpetual summer, sometimes she did feel like she was missing something inside, but she made sure to squash down any independent thoughts that might distract her from her life's work. While the petty gods toiled, Zeus too had been busy, frying heroes, lightning bolts, overseeing various honorary games, making storms, training his eagle. General, totally normal, keeping the divine order stuff. Exhausted from his labours, Zeus decreed that it was time there be a celebration, and he ordered the gods and goddesses cease what they were doing and join him with haste to Mount Olympus for a party in his honour.
You know, even gods have petty jealousies. I myself throw the greatest soirees on Mountain Olympus. But why not invoke Zeus, the god of parties and the gods of everything? I'm the god of it all. I am the big lord, I'm the big man. I'm the big important one. And I should be important. And I should be believed to be important. Why, just yesterday, I was with a load of nymphs and Pan and centaurs on the veranda of Olympus, and I put on a most spectacular, lightning, colourful show. And Pan himself said, "Why, Zeus, little Zeusy, this lightning show is greater in colour spectrum than all the flowers of Elysium. The next time you're having a party, invoke my name, please."
Attendance at these gatherings was mandatory, and even Hades, lord of the underworld, the quietest of the realms, had to go. Yes, the Greek underworld wasn't like the religious notion of hell. There was no fire and brimstone. The ancient Greek afterlife was actually quite tame. Souls languished with nothing except a daily walk, trapped in an endless purgatory of daily walks, again and again and again. Anyway, it was here at Mount Olympus that Hades laid his eyes on Persephone. Perhaps it was the carefree spring in her step, or the way that all living things seemed to crave her touch. Or maybe it was just the social anxiety kicking in. Regardless, Hades laid eyes on Persephone and wished her to be his wife. Of course, instead of being in any way rational or level-headed about it, Hades made absolutely no attempt at all to assess Persephone's feelings, instead choosing to retreat back to the underworld before the party was even over. Alone in the hellscape of his own creation, Hades grew obsessive with the thought of making Persephone his queen. The chance that Hades had been waiting for came one sunny day when Demeter allowed Persephone to join a group of her friends on an outing. Persephone immediately saw an opportunity to spend some time alone and quickly ditched her friends. As Persephone wandered, she found her mind returning to the feeling that had been troubling her, the strange absence she couldn't describe. As the day grew on, Persephone knew it would soon be time to return home, and she started to grow tired. She stopped for a moment and closed her eyes, and when she opened them, in front of her, on the ground, she saw the most unusual narcissus she had ever seen. Never pick a flower of unspecified magical origins is what I always recommend. But Persephone reached out and picked the flower, and just like that the earth beneath her began to rumble, and in the blink of an eye she was gone. Distraught, Demeter searched the ends of the earth looking for Persephone and found no trace of her daughter. She was left with no choice but to turn to Zeus, king of the gods, lord of Olympus, overseer of all cosmic doings, expert on kidnappings and related disciplinary matters. Take responsibility for Hades once, then all the gods would be at him with their petty problems. And Zeus didn't have time to deal with such trivialities. Best tell Demeter nothing and leave Hades' name out of it totally.
Really cannot help. I have too many things to do. Too many parties to attend. Too many creatures to talk to. Too many monsters to slay. My God! All these things I must attend to. You know, my little brother Hades and his little marital problems and his... Goodbye.
Meanwhile, in the underworld, thankfully for Persephone, Hades had hidden himself away, leaving her to walk the cavernous depths alone. One would assume that when confronted with the vast numbers of human souls trapped in the shadows of the netherworld, that Persephone would have wanted nothing more than to leave. But as time passed and Persephone wandered the halls of the dead, she was actually quite content to spend the time by herself. Down here, her time was her own.
It really is very stressful having to deal with all the gods' various problems. You know, it really is a nuisance, these gods, these little brothers of mine. Baby Neptune and little bambino Hades. Neptune bothering me with his whirlpools. My God. When I gave them these various elements to purvey over, I thought that they would take responsibility for their own lives. But they don't. Every moment they come to my party. Zeus, can I have your ear for a moment? Zeus, can I have your ear for this? Always asking me for everything. So very stressful. And I tell Demeter. She says to me, oh, my daughter Persephone is missing and your little brother is kidnapped. I don't have time to... Half of my daughters are unaccounted for God's sake. You don't see me quibbling about, where's my daughter? Where is she? My God. I mean, I really don't know where most of them are. Or what even their names are. You don't see me quibbling and bothering. I have parties to attend, for God's sake. Really is hard to attend to the matters of all the other gods. Hades and his little dalliance with Demeter or Persephone or whatever. I don't have the time to attend to these. I have parties to attend. I have people to entertain. Me and myself and Pan, we're jolly, jolly boys. We're the gods of everything, my God. And I will tell you, everyone in television land and in the camera techno world of the future, please, log off, switch off now and then. Get a box of chocolates, sit on a couch and repine.
Completely grief-stricken over the loss of her daughter and furious at Zeus for refusing to help, Demeter went nuclear and ceased her work. And lo, the fruits of the earth rotted on the vines, the grass and grains withered, and everything wasted away into barren soil, and all of life did suffer as a great and relentless famine struck the earth. If Demeter let all of humanity die, then who would worship him? Who would stock the temples with virgin priestesses and slaughter their best animals? There would be no women, and no athletes offering feats of valor, no grapes to harvest, or no slaves to crush the juice. The wine would run dry. Zeus was compelled to act, and he commanded Hades set Persephone free. Hades finally stepped out of the shadows to apologize for the great wrong that he had done. Persephone accepted his apology, but incredibly now refused to leave. Maybe it was the peace and solitude of the halls of the dead, or the pure psychological stress of the thought of having to go back to her mother, and the constant flowers, and the fruit, and the bloody grain, or maybe she was in love with Hades now. It was impossible to tell. She knew she had to stay. Zeus went back to Hades to find out what was going on. What do you mean she won't leave? He was outraged, affronted. Zeus absolutely did not want to talk to Persephone, but as the wine was running dangerously low, he was now left with no choice.
Yes, I know. I am the greatest god. Oh, Dionysus, don't fall over the horse. The centaurs and nymphs are making love all around the garden. Hello. Oh no, I'm afraid, Pan, I must go and attend to a phone call. Really important matter, you see. Goodbye. See you later. Yeah, leave it open, my God. It's not that important. Ah, Centaur, I love thee. Well, everybody have a great time. It's just some business I have to attend to in the other room. I must make a quick cloud call. See you later. Persephone! Persephone! It is I! Yes, I understand you're very much in love with Hades. But you must return to the earth! I'm telling you, there's not very much growing and my parties have become very, very dull. Well, the mortal wine really is superior. No, please, yes, I can do that for you, no problem. Just come back 2 seasons of the year, please. Oh, for God's sake, nothing's growing. Please, your mother is very, very worried. Thank you, Persephone. You do me good. And please attend my parties. Dionysus! His parties are... Please attend a party 1 or 2, please. Goodbye, Persephone. Yes, jolly good.
Persephone understood plainly that she could not leave her mother to destroy the earth, because that was madness. It was common knowledge that if anyone dared to eat the food of the underworld, they would be bound to live there forever. Persephone reasoned that if Hades could conjure up a magic flower, he could conjure up a magic fruit. Hades reluctantly agreed and crafted a magic pomegranate. And Persephone ate of the fruit and returned to the earth to be reunited with her mother. Demeter was overjoyed and rejoiced and danced on the earth, awakening the soil and making the crops grow. The grass turned green in the fields, the fruits returned to the trees. Mankind was overwhelmed with relief as the various plagues and epidemics brought on by the intensity of the hunger subsided. But Demeter's joy was not long-lived. Persephone revealed to her mother that she would return to the underworld each year for 4 months of the year. Partly because she ate the fruit of the underworld, and partly because personal space was healthy, and it was unusual for adult parents and their children to be best friends forever. Demeter bitterly conceded, and it was agreed that for 8 months of the year, Persephone would be by her side, while the other 4 she would spend with the dead. Humanity was spared, the seasons were created, a sense of order and balance restored to the mortal and godly realms. Zeus, his toils complete, could finally return to more important and godly matters.
Yes, it's really, really much more interesting now since I intervened in that little Persephone and Hades thing that was going on. I really did make a wonderful decision. Yes, I really don't give myself enough credit for my various things I do, but... Let's race the peacocks down the lawn! Go for it! Good on you, chaps! Yes, well, as I was saying, it's much more interesting now with an endless summer of parties. The world was dizzying, but now with the winter and the autumn and the spring and the variety, I really have made a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful god. I really am brilliant, and I really just can't get enough of myself. Thanks to Persephone, but in reality, I pushed her in. I kind of pushed her in the direction that she needed to go, so I will take full credit for this. Did you drop it? My God, it's so hard to get good mortals these days. What about Ganymede? I made him a constellation, you know. Oh well, off to my party.